Kotaku's queen that never was made a gigantic fool of herself recently by hopping on a live stream trying to virtue signal how good of a person she was by raising $20,000 for a trans-related charity, only to come out the other side of this, looking even scummier than she did beforehand. Because first and foremost, imagine this. Imagine being Alyssa Mercante, building your brand off of a stupid tweet that went mega viral about you saying you can't be racist to white people, tune in next time. And then lying about Cabrutus and the Sweet Baby Inc. detected Steam group, getting called out for fabricating sources, hopping on a live stream calling people to fight you physically in real life, only to tuck tail and run the moment that the entire internet was like, well, I'll take you up on that offer. And then write the review for one of the most anticipated releases in gaming and make it all about your personal online struggle, get mocked by the internet, and then to have this come out and it somehow be one of the bigger controversies. I can see why you were passed over as editor-in-chief at Kotaku going forward until it's, eventually over. Because if we're being completely honest, Geo Media just hired the last editor-in-chief for Kotaku, and that's not because Austin Williams is such a brilliant hire, because your outlet is on borrowed time. But imagine being as big of a racist as you are, Alyssa, losing out to somebody who's actually more qualified in that specific forum. Oh man, you better get those numbers up, sweetheart. Maybe that's why you're trying to virtue signal about how great of an ally you are. But Alyssa Mercante left lurker mode tonight on Saturday Night Hypnosis. This is coming from Hypnotic, shout out to him. Came into my chat and tried to brag about how she raised $20,000 for trans people in her stream, most of which came from industry insiders who felt they had to donate. Yeah, I'd imagine that was probably a pressure campaign when she was streaming on Twitch or something like that. But yeah, their response to her one message in the chat that they highlighted was to stream snipe her when she was over there on Twitch playing a game or something like that, and then somebody ended up getting banned because, Alyssa can't give it as well as she dishes it out. But I thought that was also a part of your other subscription models where you're showing the good people out there willing to part with their hard-earned money how much you could take. I guess that doesn't translate to the digital world, at least in that forum. But funny thing, right? Like, she's talking about how good of a person she is, because that's always what happens, right? Heathens pray in public, where you talk about how much money you raised for charity because, hell, if you don't say how much money you donated to charity, did you really donate to a charity at all? I guess she went to the school of boogie about how to be a good person. But her cope in the aftermath, right? After she couldn't bite her tongue long enough, she needed to show the world how good of a person she was, went on a tweeting spree because, of course, that's what she does. If any of these chuds faced half of what my team and other journos face daily, they'd voluntarily commit themselves to a psych ward, just saying. But you could go ahead and try to rephrase that by saying that we face a lot of hate on a daily basis, and we don't want to reflect on our own terrible and ill-thought-out positions, so yeah, we're just going to go ahead and say we face a lot of hate and never provide receipts. But saw what happened on one of their live streams last night when the lefty showed up on stream and the host folded like a lawn chair. That's your Chip Chipperson line. Now, apparently, I'm making a random lefty look like a moron for 15 minutes is folding like a lawn chair. I guess reality, it truly doesn't exist for these people because, yeah, if you check them on their so-called virtuosity, you find out that they are just as corrupt as their own beliefs. Alyssa Mercante's trans life charity exposed by Smash JT. Unironically, Alyssa's #1 fan because he has provided her with a day's worth of content. Shout out. Alyssa decided to crash Real Hypnotic stream to brag about how she raised $20,000 for trans life charity. Now, the charity she supported is a call center for help for trans individuals that pays its part-time directors six-figure salaries while spending more than they take in, raising questions about if any of the money raised went to helping trans people at all, which, as you can see by the linked images right here, details exactly what Grums is talking about and what Smash JT exposed. We have Tegan Miller, spelt like a true millennial, making $154,000 last year, something like that. And Aisha Nassim, of course, man, co-executive directors, 142. Well, that must be some racism at play right there, okay? She got $12,000, 11.5 less than Tegan. Oh my God. According to this chart, it displays the trend of revenue and expenses over the past several years from the organization reported from the IRS. So yeah, the light blue is the revenue and the expenses is the dark blue, and as you can see, at least that's as far as I can read that, the other descriptors are cut off. Yeah, they've been taking in a hell of a lot more money than they've been outputting, but oh, what do we know about any of that stuff? We don't know how expensive it is to run a hotline for 0.1% of the population. But looking further at this little scam that she was helping to finance, which I'm sure wasn't specifically picked, based on other connections that'll very likely come to light in the very near future, Alyssa's charity drive funded 6-figure executives and paid for none of their hotline workers. Oh, so it gets even worse. What is going on with this charity drive? And we mentioned this one before, okay, Minimal Effort Podcast. It's not just that the executives are making 6 figures while the charity spends more than it brings in. And they also don't pay any of their hotline workers and only answer calls Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Oh yeah, of course. All of this while actively bad-mouthing traditional hotlines. Most crisis hotlines in the United States are non-consensual interventions, usually with police, if they determine the caller is an imminent risk. Research has shown these non-consensual interventions actually increase rates of suicidality and decrease trust in crisis hotlines. We do it better because we make sure our executives get paid. In order to apply for hotline, microgrants, and communication positions, you must live in the United States or Canada and be over 18 years of age. You'll need a phone, computer, and internet connection you can use at the same time. A quiet, private place to take calls. So yeah, we're not even going to set you up with a call center or a call number or something like that. You provide all the infrastructure and we'll send you a sticker, I guess. Hotline and microgrant volunteers positions are only open to trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming identified people. And because we don't pay you, I guess we can't get sued for discrimination in our hiring practices. Well, that's kind of interesting. When you call, you'll speak to a trans, non-binary peer operator. Full anonymity and confidence. No non-consensual active rescue, calling 911, emergency services, or law enforcement. So trust me, if you're telling me that, you've got a sharp metal instrument pressed to your neck or wrist, we won't call anybody that can help you, but we'll listen to your bellyache for a while. As of January 1st, 2024, Trans Lifeline's hotline operating hours are Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We plan to reopen the hotline on Saturdays and Sundays later in 2024. That is yet to happen. When the call volumes are high, probably closer to the election, because it's just going to be so problematic for all of them. Please, it may take longer to get connected because people are just jumping at this. That's why they need $20,000 to pay their executives. But as you can see, they also actively discourage anyone who is having a crisis from reaching out to traditional hotlines if they can't get through to Trans Lifeline. That's crazy, man. Trans Lifeline connects trans people with community support and resources we need to survive and thrive. Sure. We envision a world where trans people have the connection. God, all of this commie gobbledygook. But I called, but I didn't get through. What should I do? Yeah, just continue to call, bro. Don't worry about it. Best to answer the calls. Hear why you might not have gotten to speak with somebody that you called with and what you can do next. First, you may want to ground, center, and do some breathing. Holy shit, this is a real thing, huh? These self-care resources can guide you through some of the ways that you can do that. If you need immediate help, reach out to the community-based crisis supports. Okay, use these finder tools, blah, 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 all that crap. Try calling us again. Try another hotline or warm line. What the hell's a warm line? Please be aware that most other lines engage emergency first responders and law enforcement and have differing levels of trans competency. Well, if you're calling one of these hotlines, I would also think that you have some trans competency issues. But this is what they're trying to stunt on people with. This is what they're trying to say. I raised $20,000 to support this hotline that can barely maintain a coherent work schedule. That makes sure that the people on the other end of the hotline don't quite get competent, but they get DEI-based results based on their perceived needs in the moment. I mean, raising $20,000 for charity is generally good, but it also begs the question, why do you think that that's some sort of a defense? And also, you know that that's going to get dug into because you've made your business the internet's business in 2024. If you're going to look that stupid after just a cursory amount of research, why would you try to virtue signal on that? It doesn't make a lot of sense. But then again, that can also summarize Alyssa Mercante's entire career. Thanks for being the gift that keeps on giving, kind of like chlamydia. Something else that you're very knowledgeable on, I'm sure, Alyssa. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.